looking good, Italian Job.
Feeling good, Tommy boy. How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm great. It's another, fast flying week in the world of December and holidays and all that. So I'm just trying to hold on and enjoy every moment, staying present, staying still. Sometimes Mammon demands other things and we rise to that occasion. Sometimes family calls out, we rise to that occasion. And you and I are both lucky to experience both of those joys. So
Absolutely.
I am A-okay. How about you?
Yeah, same. Mammon's taking a lot of time right now, but tend to function better when the bullets are flying, when things are heavy. Right towards the end of the year, it seems like every bit of work that's been pushed, all of a sudden it's a priority, which means my brain's fired. I'm ready to roll and I'm staying busy with work, but that also means I've got to find that balance that once I shut down the computer at the end of the day, it's family time. It's not responding to emails. It's not making phone calls. It truly is. If that means we're watching the Santa Claus movie again, hey, that's fine. I'm not plugged into work. I'm plugged into family. So it's that balance, but balancing it.
Yeah, exactly. And owning it. Like you said, I'll never understand guys that keep that, if you're Apple phone users on your Steve, you have that email red bubble telling you that you got 4,000 emails. Turn that off. That's just nothing but unnecessary stress. You've got emails. Who are you fooling? Yep. So there's your pro tip for the week. If you want to reduce your heart palpitations, turn off that stupid notification on your phone telling you that you have email.
Nailed it.
Let's do this. We've got a great topic today that I'm excited about. We set it up a couple weeks ago with C-SPAN. So we want to promise the listeners that we're going to blow through it because you have a pretty big assignment this week. So we'll get to that. Before we do that, we've had a pretty big week across F3 Nation and the globe that is F3 now. I want to hand it over to you because we've got some guys to shout out and T-clap.
So we have talked about this Cadre Academy that was going on. There was an application process, and then the event actually took place last weekend, and it was a hard weekend. I mean, we're talking maybe 4 hours of sleep between 2 days, heavy lifts, long durations, obstacle courses, underwater type stuff, classroom training, and not only classroom training, but then you had guinea pigs where you were literally telling these folks, you were acting as a trainer to these folks who've never heard the material. And out of the Cadre Academy, we have 2 new cadres and that's Slaughter and Anaconda. And we have 9 new cadre in training. So I don't want to screw this up. So I'm going to read the names because you and I have met most of these guys, or we've done an event with most of these guys. Uncle Rico, Motorboat, Flight Nurse, Wise Guy, Full House, Yodel, Babyface, Olaf, and Akron. Out of those lists, Olaf is in my home region. We've had him on this podcast. Akron is in your home region. And I mean, most of these guys, we have literally been under the log right next to at one of these events. And I can tell you, the men on this list are high impact men, guys that I would follow into battle. And I don't think we could have chosen better cadres and in training for upcoming events.
100%. I would run through a wall for any one of those guys. And I'm excited to see the continuation of what they contribute to F3, but also what they pour into other men and how it transfers into that man becoming even higher impact. So kudos to those guys, huge T-claps. I know they went down to the wire and emptied their tanks just from watching some of the stuff popping up on social media. We've got an AAR set up with Akron just to hear what he had to say. We already have set a goal of at least 20 guys from Greensboro heading to the Grill Rock 26 just to ride that fire. So kudos to everybody. I'm just excited to see not only what these guys bring to the table for the nation, but also for themselves. And that's a major investment in your own person.
Absolutely. And speaking of investments, here's where we're going to go and tell everybody what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about the one word. We've talked about this in our podcast leading up to it, where we were talking about the 8 block, the one word and the one word challenge. And I guess we'll just kind of jump into it. Tommy boy, what is the one word? What's the purpose? Why do we do it? What's the value in it? How do you take one word? Where do you run with it?
Yeah, real quickly, the one word is based on one word that will change your life. It's a book by Dan Britton, Jimmy Page, not that one, and
Mhm.
John Gordon. I will say, here's the review of the book that you didn't ask for, that what you're going to get. All three of these men are motivational speakers, and they probably get paid by the word. So they wrote a book in 64, 65 pages that can probably be boiled down to 15 pages. But the idea is this: the one word is an exercise that you take on yourself. You remove yourself from all distractions. You seek out, you seek in, you look up to find this word that will then guide you through the next year. So it's 365 days being led by a word. A lot of guys that I know that talk through this exercise say that they don't choose their word chooses them. That's a powerful statement. A lot of guys switch up their word midway through the year, not because it hasn't served them, but they've literally drained it dry, and they recognize, they're so in tune, they recognize the need for a change. Or maybe life just switches up, right? And if nothing else, you have this practice where you can get still and listen, shut up for a minute. And from that quiet time, that stillness, ideally this word will present itself to you, or you will come up with the word that you need to lead you through 2022.
What I like about the one word is its simplicity. You think about, as people go into the new year, they come up with these resolutions, and gosh, I've seen some folks' resolutions that it might as well be a PowerPoint presentation with bullets and a Gantt chart of how they're going to do X, Y, and Z. The great thing about the one word is it permeates all areas of your life. If you select a word that stays on top of mind, and I recommend writing it on a Post-it note and keeping it readily available, maybe even have it on the bathroom mirror, something that you see on a daily basis that you can be reminded of, but it will permeate all three F's. It will permeate your concentrica. It truly is a word to build on and to almost build your goals for the new year based on one word. The value is how simple it is. Instead of the complexity of a multi-point, you must do X, Y, and Z in order to reach the next step. It's one word that permeates it all. And I think it's important to note, these don't have to be big SAT words. Can you use it in a sentence? Can you provide me the language of origin? It doesn't have to be profound. Some people, I had one year, mine was go. Another year, it was do. It didn't have to be something huge. I mean, just a simple word. And I think it's important to kind of figure out what that word's going to be, to eliminate the distractions, like you said, find a quiet time in a quiet place and just dwell on it and figure out what word is coming to mind. Write down those things that you want to do in the new year, the areas that you didn't do well in the current year, and how can you get to that next level, and how can you simplify it into one word? And so kind of tell me, what one word have you had, or any, in the past few years? Because I know you've done this exercise before. What word or what anecdote, story do you have for a word in previous years?
Yeah, this will be my third iteration of the one word practice. And I say practice because I feel like I'm always just trying to get better while doing it. And I'm always learning from it. So my first year, I was still Nantan. I felt like I was leading from the front too much, if that makes sense. Meaning I felt like I was doing all the work to keep up with our hardest chargers, the guys that in the first step are just dominating. But that means that I'm not serving to the full capacity the guys for the six and everything in between, right? So my word for that year was third. It was also a reminder that although serving is the role of Nantan, I have a family. I have Mammon. I have that whole concentrica that I'm responsible for. So third was put in place so I didn't get overwhelmed by those things. I was in harmony with them, if that makes sense. And then the second year, last year, passed off the Nantan flag earlier this spring. And my word for the whole year, after coming out of COVID and like everybody else, I feel like that has an F3 podcast, discovered Ted Lasso. And my word was curious for this year. And that reminded me to continually ask myself, what if? What if you tried this? What if you did that? What if SACT became our Nantan? What if you stepped out of this role and into a national role? What if you spent as much time as possible with your 16-year-old daughter? What if you put your son in a position on your 8 block that you hung out weekly with a ton of intention. All sorts of things. I could go on and on, but I'll tell you, at the craziest moments in life, we all ride that roller coaster year after year. And like you said, we can get distracted by too many empty promises to ourselves. Again, I'll repeat myself from a couple weeks ago. Don't should on yourself and don't should on others. I should do this. I should lose weight. I should work out. I should yada, yada, yada. The one word is undeniable. And I'll echo what your challenge was to the PAX is write it down, put it on a Post-it note, stick it on your mirror. If you keep a journal, put it on the cover of your journal. If you are really out there, get a neck tattoo with your one word on it. But you didn't hear that from me. But keep it front and center, because when things get hectic, this is that through line that reminds you of a promise you made to yourself earlier in the year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow. I also think it's important to share. If you're part of a shield lock, share your one word with the guys. Reiterate that one word with your guys at least on a quarterly basis. How are you doing on your one word? One of the guys in our shield lock here in town, he said my 2022 word is going to be the same as 2021 because I didn't finish it. I did not get to where I needed to be. So we said, midway through the year, if you need to change course, you can. That also means don't feel any shame in carrying that one word over to next year. If you're not done and it's not done with you, carry it over. Carry the one.
That's a great point too. And I'll put it this way. If you don't know your mission, then how are you going to act it out? How are you going to live it out? So, there's a reason we start our workouts by reciting our mission. There's a reason we recite our credo. There's a reason we rely and have for everyone to see our core values. And that's because we need to know what those are. And so this one word, even at life's most hectic, that one word has the power to resonate and just remind you of the promise you made to yourself. And if guys are listening to this right now, the SWT, the Stuff We're Trying podcast, we've got you covered. We're going to put a link in the comments, both on YouTube and where you get your podcasts from, to a great worksheet that F3 Bones out of Greensboro has shared with our region. I'm going to clean it up a little bit because it's from a different source that he designed for a conference he was a part of. He's given us permission to doctor it up a little bit, but it's a great way to take this with you. For me, I always tend to go on a 10-mile ruck, and sometimes it takes me 2 miles. Sometimes it takes me the entire 10. But I spend that time, again, looking in, looking out, and looking up for that word. And this breaks it down very, very easily. I like it because of what you just said, which is this is a great thing to do with your shield lock. If you are looking to lead something in your region, this is a great thing to pick a location and a time and a date and walk through it with guys who can show up to that cafeteria, for example, or do a second or third F, bonus round and share it. Again, we don't own this stuff, so it's not ours to keep. We have to give it away.
So that's really good stuff.
Let me ask you this. You had shared.
Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to say you had shared your words. I'd love to hear, before we wrap up, one of your biggest takeaways from a time when the word came in handy for you.
Yeah. This past year, my word was intentionality. And I that was an SAT word for me. If I'm going from go and do, I added syllables to this one. I will tell you, be careful what word you choose, because it's amazing what happens, how all of a sudden it clarifies the situation. You realize if my word in 21 is intentionality, and the reason it's intentionality is because I felt myself slipping away and becoming an inch deep, mile wide. My relationships were starting to get pretty shallow. I was being spread very thin, and I didn't feel like I was being intentional enough about the things that mattered most in my life, the ones that I love. And I'm not done with intentionality, and what it's going to carry over in 22 with the focus on with the word being selfless. In order for me to have intentionality, I need to realize it ain't all about me. And so this is just one of those things. These words are personal, and they're personal to me because I can choose a word that makes it sound like I walk on water. I can choose a word that makes it sound like I've got it all figured out, but I don't. And to get real, with everybody listening, and it really comes down to, if I want to get better, I need to be intentional about the ones that I serve. If I want to serve others well, I need to be selfless and stop focusing on myself and focus on others. This morning, as I was driving back from our Shield Lock meeting, something came into mind, and I don't know where it came from. I'll be completely honest with you, but the phrase that came into my mind was, "For whom do I post? For whom do I work? For whom do I serve?" And that's where selfless came from. Quite honestly, I had a different word written down, and that word shifted this morning while I was sitting at a traffic signal, coming home from meeting with my Shield Lock. And my word is going to be selfless for 2022.
Good for you. Well done. You're ahead of the pack for me. I've not gotten there yet, but we're coming up on a 10-mile ruck here real soon. So I'll report back when I pick my word. Listen, guys, if this is something you're considering, I can't stress it enough. It's a wonderful practice. It paired with the 8 block is a great hand and glove exercise. Mm-hmm. To put it really bluntly, life can throw all the trouble it wants to at you, whether it's the news or social media, the ups and downs of life, just maintaining a household, right? Maintaining a career. The 1 word and the 8 block together provide that bass note, that through note for an entire year that keeps you centered. If you allow it to, will keep you accountable, which is why I agree with Italian Job to share your word. And it keeps you on track. It keeps you paced. So if you haven't figured it out, our challenge worth trying this week is to figure out your 1 word or put it out there and lead the 1 word practice with this worksheet we're going to make available. Again, a link in the comments. You can always find it on stuffworthtrying.com, and we'll direct link it to on F3 at F3 SWT on the Twitter sphere. Am I missing anything, Italian Job?
I'll tell you what, I'll give the Cliff's Notes version for the person who doesn't want to click the link. Here's how you come up with your 1 word. Limit the distractions around you. Focus on asking yourself a handful of questions. What do I need? What's in my way? What needs to go? What needs to change? By asking those questions, it may resonate. It may hit you right away. My word is X. It may take a long time. It may take a lot of self-reflection. These words they don't always just come. Sometimes they do, and that's great. And sometimes it takes some digging deep, peeling back the layers. And so asking again, and I'll give you those questions again. What do I need? What's in my way? What needs to go? What needs to change? By answering those questions, you may see a theme, and that theme may be around 1 word. It doesn't have to be a superfluous word. It doesn't have to be large and in charge. It can be very simple, but that word's personal to you. So find that 1 word and live in it, dig into it, make it personal, and look at it quite frequently. Look at it. And you can base, like you said, finding that bass note. Back when in my jazz days, someone told me a bass is meant to be felt and not heard. So if you feel that word right there in your heart, dig into it, live on that.
Yep. I'm still writing down superfluous, so you'll have to catch me up with everything you said. No, but you're exactly right. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. And we're talking about investing in ourselves. Obviously, we want to be the gift that pays dividends to those that we come in contact with, based on how our Concentrica is designed. So anything that you're going to benefit from, so is your M, so are your shorties, so on and so forth. So put in the work, reach out to us anytime. If you have questions, if you need a different resource, if you want to talk to a guy that's had a lot of success with 1 word, we know those guys. We are trying to be those guys as well, but Lord knows y'all hear us enough. We're here to make connections. That's what F3 Nation's all about is picking up the 6, leaving no man where we found him, but we're not going to leave you where we found you either. So leave no man behind, rather, and we're not going to leave you where we found you. So
that's right.
Let us know how we can be of service to you guys, Pax. Italian Job, I think we stuck to our promise almost. We wanted to make this one short because we want the guys to have a lot more time to put in the work for themselves. But as always, it's great to be with you. I would be remiss if I didn't say and remind folks, to the men out, if you need help, ask for help. This is a time of year, and I know it's almost cliche to say it, but it's okay to ask for help. In fact, it should be the standard. And especially this time of year, if you feel like you are alone or you are failing or you are being left behind, speak up. For those of you Christian men out there, religious men, every time God's people cried out for help, they were answered. Ask for help, because many someones will be there to help you. So as we slip through the holiday season, do not hesitate to ask for help. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man. I couldn't have said any better. Look forward to our next conversation in the next week, and then we'll take some time off for the holidays. But hey, guys, reach out to either one of us. My Twitter account is at F3_Italian job. We also have F3SWT, and then funny haha, that's a PH. PHUNNYHAHA is Tommy Boy. Reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. And again, if we can help in any way, let us know. We'll connect you with some high impact men who know a thing or two and know a little bit more than we do.
All right, brother. Looking forward to next week. Be good or be good at it.